to during law school, and then I got a job as a lawyer, and then my time went out the window. But she's going to tell us about her background. She's going to talk about she races. I'm going to ask her lots of law questions.
Which I'm sure everyone is excited to hear about.
Yeah, thoroughly excited. So, well, tell us about how you got started in racing.
Yeah, so first off, I just want to thank you guys for taking the time out of your Saturday to come in here and me speak about an assortment of things. And also, this benefits Women in Motorsports North America, which is something and a foundation and group that's really near and dear to my heart that I'm heavily involved in, so thank you. But I got started in racing. I actually started when I was 6 years old. And I was introduced, I grew up in a racing family. My uncles used to race late models and stock cars. So I know a lot of open wheel people refer that to taxi cab racing. But that's kind of what I grew up around. Like, we used to celebrate Daytona 500s like they were Super Bowls. And so yeah, I always kind of knew or had an idea that I was going to do something in motorsports. But obviously, like, being a younger girl, I wasn't really sure what that might look like for me. But yeah, I started racing when I was 6. The first time I sat in a quarter midget, it was like instant butterflies. So love at first sight, and yeah, I've been hooked ever since. So went off quarter midgets, bandoleros, micro sprints, and then that's when I started getting into the midget ladder. I raced Kenyan midgets, Ford Focus midgets. I made my first full-size midget start when I was 13. My first full-size sprint car start when I was 14, and won my first sprint car race. So that was cool. And yeah, raced dirt and pavement sprint cars, dirt and pavement midgets, dirt and pavement silver crown cars, late models, and ARCA cars, and did some Formula 2000 stuff. So literally a little bit of everything.
What's on your plans for this season, for 2023?
Yeah, so this year I'm really excited about. I'm racing the entire 500 Sprint Car Tour, which is encompassed around non-wing pavement sprint cars, which is what I started racing when I was 14. So I think it's definitely, I'm biased, but some of the best sprint car racing in the country. And then I'm also racing the entire USAC Silver Crown schedule, both the dirt and the pavement cars. So really looking forward to that.
We talked a little bit, your goal is ultimately?
Yeah, so this year, short term, I know I give the short term. I know we can contend for wins and hopefully be in contention for the championships this year. So I'm thinking we can maybe pull off at least one of them in one of the divisions, if not maybe both, we'll see. And then long term, I mean, I definitely wouldn't be opposed to making some IndyCar starts. So we'll see. I used to always tell Lynn St. James I just want to race forever. And so she used to tell me, you need to pick something. NASCAR, IndyCar, what is that? I said, I just want to race. So.
You look like you got a good mentor. So.
Thanks. Oh yeah, she's one of the best. One of the best.
Tell us a little bit, and this is why I was so intrigued by you, is tell us a little about your background in law. Because law school is probably one of the most traumatic things that you can go through, the pressure that these schools put you under.
Yeah. Well, no, for sure. I feel like my not only just the schools, but like the pressure that I put on myself, because I actually wrote my law school personal statement on. I had enclosed it by, no matter what I'm doing, I want to be the best. And so, like, whether that's just studying for the LSAT and my LSAT score or whatever it is, like, to me, everything's a competition. So I am, like, my biggest competitor, my biggest critic. But, yeah, actually, it starts off when I was in high school. Like, all I wanted to do was race. Like, I used to miss 60 days of school a year, and luckily my high school let me do that because I was always. And so I always had the mentality like, oh, I'm not going to go to school. Like, I don't want to pursue my education after this. And my parents were like very kind of like high on getting my education. And so I had moved down here after I graduated from high school and was going to college and racing full time and working at the shop and things of that nature. And so at that point I was like, okay, college is it for me. After that, I'm not doing anything more. And then when I transferred to Grand Valley State University in Grand Rapids, my sophomore year, I fell in love with my business law class. To like the point, like the first 2 weeks, my professor would be like, okay, so Michigan State offers this 3-and-3 program, so if anyone's interested, come to my office. And I used to kind of joke, I'm like, this guy for real? Like, there's no way. And 3 weeks later, I was in his office wanting to learn about the program. And so, business law was it for me, and that's what I loved. And actually, I know we were talking earlier, when I sat down for the LSAT, it was like a light bulb went off, and I was like, oh, you know what? I had a motorsports attorney when I was doing ARCA and late models, and he used to do my contracts and stuff. And I was like, oh, I could do what Alan Miller does. And so, like, work in motorsports and work with younger drivers. So we'll see. Maybe that's it for me.
I wish you a lot of luck on